it's Lisa from Twinkle Little Tar. Hope you're well. I wanted to show you in this video how to make some gorgeous homemade brownies, ideal with a brew. So I'm going to show you what ingredients you need, some quick tips, some myths that you just need to ignore, and some real step-by-step guide on how to make them. They're gooey, they're gorgeous, they smell lovely. So come along, watch the video, tell me what you think, comment below. I'm going to come up with lots and lots of videos on how to bake and craft, so check them out, Twinkle Little Tar. And just because I can't feed them to you through the screen, I'll show you how good they are. So keep watching, bye! So let's talk ingredients for the brownies. Here they are, everything that you're going to need to make gorgeous gooey chocolate brownies. Right, chocolate. Let me talk to you about chocolate first. I always use a mix of dark and milk chocolate. Use whatever you want to, but I find if you're going to use all of it dark chocolate, the brownies can be quite bitter and harsh tasting. I don't personally like that, so I tend to go for a mix of milk and dark. And again, there's a lot of, do you use over 70% chocolate? Do you buy a bar that's quite expensive? I tend to go for whatever I can afford. So whatever you can, make sure it is milk or dark chocolate on there. And then try a mix and see what you think. Lovely eggs, make sure they're nice and large eggs. If you're using smaller ones, then you might just need to add an extra one just to compensate for the size. So always use nice large eggs. Cocoa, so nice cocoa powder. Make sure you sieve the powder. It's really, really, really important. Otherwise, you're going to have lumps in with your brownies and air pockets of powder. So you really don't want that. So cocoa powder. Here, I've got some plain flour. Again, sifted that all the way through. And then we've got butter. Now look at that. That looks the most unhealthiest bowl ever, doesn't it? But I'm actually going to be making quite a large tray of brownies today. So here there's 350 grams of butter, and which I've made sure is room temperature, and then I've cubed up. Now what I'm going to be doing is, this is the size, I want to show you, this is the size tray that I'm going to be using today. So quite a large tray of brownies. Lucky me, there might be some spare. And then you're going to need some parchment paper, and make sure that it is wide enough and long enough to actually line your tray. So that's everything you're going to need ingredients wise. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to melt together the butter and the chocolate. So they're going to be melted, and then we're going to continue with the other ingredients. Okay, so we've just gone through the ingredients, and one thing I forgot, the bowl was on the side, was the sugar. Most importantly, nice bit of caster sugar there, so making sure it's nice and fine. So I have my chocolate and my butter melting, so I'll bring that over in a moment. But in my mixing bowl, using a balloon whisk, nice and clean, I want to make sure that I add my eggs and my sugar. And we're going to really give that a nice fluffy sort of mix. We want lots of air in there, and it's going to kind of turn a very pale colour. So as much air as you can get into those eggs, make your brownies really nice and light and fluffy. So in go my eggs. There we are. And in goes my sugar. And then I'm going to put the mixer on. Now because it's not that exciting, what I'll do is I'll mix it, and then I'll show you afterwards what they look like, okay? So this has been mixing for, say, about 5 minutes, and I want to show you just how beautiful and airy that is. Can you see all those lovely air holes in there? So that's literally just putting in the eggs and the sugar. I've started off nice and slow, get it combined, and then give it a really good whiz. You want to get as much air in there as you possibly can. And then here we have our melted chocolate and our butter. The smell is just, oh, gorgeous. And what we want to make sure we do is we've created all this air in here. We don't want to be putting all these ingredients right on the top, and then the air is just going to deflate. So we need to be careful of that. Now when adding your cocoa and your flour, the way to actually protect the amount of air that you've got in there is to put this on the side of the bowl. So don't dump it all in the middle. Try and make sure that this will go in the side of the bowl. And then as it combines and brings it into the middle, it will hopefully keep the air up. So I'm just going to take my whisk off there, just so I can make sure that it's all going to one side. And remember that I've actually sieved this before, so must make sure that all your dry ingredients are sieved. And then you won't end up with any flour bubbles in there. So just going to pop the mixer on. to the side. I'm just going to put the mixture on again. So nice and slow to start off. We get it slowly combined and then we'll speed it up as it goes along. You look at the ribbon effect there, really nice. The smell is just beautiful. Okay, so now what we're going to do, I've left the chocolate and the butter to cool down. We're now going to pour this in and combine it all. So in that goes, oh, pure heaven, pure heaven. And also I want to talk to you about added ingredients, so flavours. Now this is just going to be a gooey gorgeous chocolate brownie. But I also make fruit brownies, lemon zest brownies, orange, chocolate and orange, made in heaven combination. So this is the time that you want to be, make sure you get everything out, that you want to be putting any other flavours that you've got in here. So a little bit of orange zest would be really good. Not too much orange juice because it will make the brownies quite wet and they'll take longer to cook and then you're more at risk of burning the top. So really good orange or lemon zest in there. Some lime might be quite good. If you're going to add fruit, cranberries, raisins, then add them now, just before the final mix. If you are adding fruit, then I would take the whisk off and actually mix them in by hand. If you're adding caramel, then we can do that at the next stage, but you might want to sort of drizzle some in there. So it's endless. You could actually maybe put a bit of orange Cointreau or something in there. So let your imagination go wild with it. Coconut, that's another one that you could look at using. So what we want to do is just give that a little mix. We just move this to the side. Fabulous. Now just grab my spatula and which I left in my bowl. There we are. I'm just going to scrape the bowl down. So just want to make sure every single thing is combined there. And I'm just going to give it one more whiz up. Fab. Okay. So here I've got my tray. It's quite a large tray, and I've got some parchment paper. Now what you can do is get a little bit of marge and actually put it in the corners and stick the paper down. What I tend to do is, as the brownie mix goes in, it will actually naturally sort of bend in and we can sort of move it around there. So I don't tend to use the marge, but you can do. Let's get our balloon whisk and get all that excess chocolate off there. Oh, the smell is beautiful. So I'm going to put my oven on 150, nice and low, sorry, 180, sorry, nice and low. And I'm going to cook them for about 20 minutes. Now obviously everybody's oven is different, so you need to keep an eye on them. What I always do is I always put a little bit of foil over the top, and that makes sure that the top doesn't cook too quick. So I always make sure I put a hat on my brownies, as do I my cakes. If you've seen any of my YouTube quick tips, you'll see that I always put a hat on my cakes. And if you want to watch one of the videos, and it will tell you why. So let's scrape the bowl out. Can you see that? Oh, it's just gorgeous. And I've got lots of little fingers at home that like to lick the bowl out. So I'm sure there'll be plenty of children running in a minute and asking to do that. So make sure we've got every single bit out. We don't want to waste any. So there we go. Still some in there. Right. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to spread it out into the corners. Okay. So all nicely spread out. See that? Lovely and glossy. Okay. So oven preheated. That's going to go into the oven. So I'm going to put my foil top on. So foil top on there. And then the oven. Look at that, get a close up of that. Whoa! So foil top, it's going to go in the oven on sort of middle shelf. Start off for about 20 minutes and then we're going to get a cocktail stick and just check the middle. If it comes out nice and clean, then what you want to do is turn the heat off and leave the oven door open slightly and just let them cool down. So we'll show you how it turns out in a minute. So here we are, freshly out the oven. Take a look at those. Beautiful. So this is the hard part when you've got to wait for them to cool down. So we'll give it about 10 minutes for them to cool down. And then what I'll do is I'll lift this out onto a board and then we can start to cut them up and you can see how gooey and gorgeous they are inside. So let's give it 10 and then we'll come back and cut them. So they've cooled down. I've just trimmed the edges off, and actually that's the bit that the family like. Put them in a little jar, I'll show you. And they like the brownie ends. I can get them to do so much homework if I promise them a brownie end, so that's good. So I've trimmed the edges up, and now let's get in and let's actually give it a good old slice and see how gorgeous and gooey these brownies are. So just have a look at this. Look at that, gooey, gorgeous, and the smell, oh, it's just, oh, I wish I could pass them through the screen so you could test them. And what I like to do as well is get a little bit of ice and sugar, and just with a tiny, tiny bit of ice and sugar on my sieve, can literally go over the top like that. Oh, goodness me, looks like Christmas. How gorgeous is that? Lovely. So what I'll do is I'll enjoy one of these for you. It's a tough job, isn't it? Thank you for watching. If you've got any comments, any questions, please comment below and make sure you subscribe as well, because not only have we made brownies today, but there's lots of quick tip videos, lots of fondant tutorials, and also some children's videos as well. So thank you for watching, and oh, they're great. Take care. Bye.